Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of Arirang News. It's 10 a.m. on Wednesday, November 2nd here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. We start with the latest on the Choi Soon-sil scandal and its political fallout. The highly anticipated shake-up of senior government officials is picking up a head of steam, with the Prime Minister and Finance Minister, who also acts as Deputy PM, being the latest casualties. President Park Geun-hye was under intense pressure to overhaul the cabinet and take responsibility for the scandal. We go over to our presidential office correspondent Song Ji-sun for more. So Ji-sun, this news only broke about half an hour ago. What do we know about the new appointees?
Good morning, Mark. Just 3 days after replacing her key presidential secretaries, President Park has appointed a new prime minister and finance minister who also acts as deputy prime minister. The reshuffle comes at a critical time when the prime minister's role is expected to gain political clout, as a series of scandals linked to President Park's longtime confidant Choi Soon-sil have significantly weakened the president's momentum for policy drives. Kim Byung-jun, a professor at Kookmin University of Public Administration, formerly served as the policy chief for Nomuhyun administration and education minister, is the nominee for prime minister to replace Hwang Kyo-an. With his experience in the government and in academia, the president expects Kim to prepare policies catered to people from their perspective and overcome outstanding crises to prepare for the nation's future. Financial Services Commission Chairman Im Jong-young is the new Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. The presidential office said Im, with his rich experience both in the public and the private sectors of finance and the economy, is the right person to carry out the government's major reform drives in the finance sector. President Park also appointed a new Minister for Public Safety and Security on the recommendation of the new PM appointee. Park Seung-ju, former Vice Minister of Gender Equality and Family, will be in charge of beefing up the nation's safety capabilities. The President has yet to name her Chief of Staff among other secretaries, but the announcement for tapping the new Prime Minister may help her handle the current crisis, should it soothe public anger and help stabilize the situation. Back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Ji-sun, for that report, and we'll be hearing more about that shake-up at noon Korea time during our next newscast. Now, more on the revelations released by state prosecutors regarding the Choi Soon-sil scandal. Prosecutors say they have evidence Choi received around $3 million from Samsung Group last year through Wedex Sports, a company she established in Germany. There were also findings that show Choi may have forced other Korean conglomerates to donate funds to the cultural foundations Mira and K Sports. The special investigative team says an executive from retail giant Lotte Group made the claim during questioning. Prosecutors are currently focusing on arranging evidence linking Choi to corruption allegations surrounding those foundations. Choi is reportedly denying all the allegations against her. Prosecutors are expected to seek an arrest warrant on Wednesday on multiple charges linked to political interference, influence peddling and embezzlement, as the 48-hour emergency detention runs out tonight. Now, in other news, North Korea could be getting ready to launch another missile before the week is out. Two US officials told a US news network that a launch is pretty much imminent, but the Pentagon is remaining tight-lipped on the possibility. Connie Kim with the details.
North Korea may be gearing up for another ballistic missile launch within the next 3 days. Citing two U.S. officials with knowledge of the issue, Fox Business Network reported Tuesday local time that the regime is preparing to launch an intermediate-range Busan missile in the next 24 hours to 72 hours. The officials did not specify what satellite imagery might indicate a launch was imminent, and the U.S. Department of Defense has declined to confirm the report. If a launch goes ahead, it would mark the regime's 9th Busan missile launch this year. So far, the North's only intermediate-range ballistic missile launch success came in June. The Musudan missile, with a range of some 3,500 kilometers, is a growing threat, as it would put the U.S. base on the Pacific island of Guam within striking distance if it becomes operational. The timing of the possible launch is significant, as it would come a few days before the U.S. presidential election. Pyongyang has record of launching provocations around its key anniversaries, but Washington believes this trend will change. After a recent meeting with U.S. officials in Washington, Two South Korean lawmakers said there is a possibility the North could forge ahead with a nuclear test, ballistic missile launch, or even a provocation at the inter-Korean border before or after the U.S. presidential election or the presidential inauguration in January. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
In around a week from now, we'll know the next president of the United States. And as the race enters its final stretch, it seems Donald Trump is the candidate with the momentum at this time. While a number of polls show Trump is surging, a leading credit rating agency says it expects Hillary Clinton to win by a landslide. Kim Mo-kyun has the details.
Donald Trump has jumped in the polls over the past week, erasing a 12-point deficit in the latest ABC News Washington Post national tracking poll. Conducted from October 27th to the 30th, the poll showed Trump leading Hillary Clinton by 1 point at 46% to 45%, with Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson and the Green Party's Jill Stein taking 3% and 2% respectively. This marks the first time Trump has led that survey since May. Clinton has been dropping in the polls in the aftermath of the FBI's bombshell revelation last Friday that it had reopened its criminal probe into Clinton's use of a private server when she was Secretary of State. However, a model that has correctly predicted the winner of every U.S. presidential race since 1980 paints a different picture. The Moody's Analytics model forecasts Clinton will get 332 electoral votes, while Trump is predicted to 206. The majority of the 538 electoral votes, 207, is required to win the presidency. It picked the improving U.S. economy and the popularity of President Obama as the two main reasons. Moody's says the improved economy is reflected by the growth in household income and lower gas prices, and it says Obama's high approval ratings will also play a big role in swaying undecided voters' minds towards Clinton. Kim Mo-kyun, Arirang News.
Well, that's pretty much all the news we have for now. Just a reminder that we will be bringing you further, more in-depth updates on the cabinet reshuffle that took place around 45 minutes ago. President Park Geun-hye has replaced the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, who also serves as Deputy Prime Minister. All that and more coming up at noon Korea time. So until then, goodbye.